Hi, welcome back to the breadboard and another mailbag episode. Got lots of mail come in the post over the last few days. Seems like I'm quite popular at the moment. So let's have a look what's arrived, and maybe there's something in here we can use for tomorrow's TI Tuesday and power supply projects and potentially other things. So let's have a close look and unwrap them. Okay, so first up, a package from Seed Studio. I think I know what's in here. I already opened it just to check nothing was damaged because the box was a bit squished. So let's have a look. Alright, we have a BeagleBone green wireless. So that'll be fun, maybe for even for a TI Tuesday, because as some of you may already know, the BeagleBone is based on the TI Citara processor. This one is from Seed Studios as opposed to the BeagleBone Black or BeagleBone Industrial. And what you can see here is we have the basic BeagleBone Black, but we have some Grove connectors on the end. We also have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connections, as well as the usual SD card slot and everything else. So this will be really interesting to have a look at. I've also now got a BeagleBone Black from Texas Instruments as well. So between the T-Bow board, the BeagleBone Green, and the BeagleBone Black, I have a few different Citara-based single board computers to play with now. Anyway, this one will make a whole video of its own. I'm not going to review it right now, but it does come with antennas for both the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi, and a USB lead. They've also been kind enough to provide me a couple of add-ons for this. So one of them is a Seed Studio 3-axis accelerometer, and the other one is a 0.96 inch OLED display. So let's just have a quick look at that. So both of these, there you go, little OLED display. That'll be fun to play with. So if I get that to focus a bit better, maybe. So yeah, both of these plug into the Grove connectors on the board. So they're going to be I2C probably, because there's not enough pins for SPI on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so supply, ground, and 2 signal lines. Anyway, that's first one from Seed Studio. Thank you, Seed Studio. Just a point of interest for this, just looking at the quick sheet for it, from a specs, I've already mentioned the wireless connectivity, but it also has 4 gigabyte eMCC memory and 512 megs of DDR3 RAM. So the T-Bow that I've been reviewed just a few days ago, that has 500 megs of eMCC and 500 megs of RAM. So this one would probably be able to have a lot more installed on the board. I can't remember what the BeagleBone Black has, but when I do the video for these, we'll bring them all together and have a little bit of a comparison. And they're all designed for different purposes. This one obviously is designed for educational use and things. Anyway, let's get the next bag. Okay, next up, FedEx package from Texas Instruments. Okay, I have not opened this one yet. And FedEx is always fun bags to get into. What we have is a launch pad. Excellent. It is the, what does it say? Does it say on here? No. Yes. Launch XL F28027. A little bit ago, I was doing a TI Tuesday on the Buck converter, which used a C2000 launch pad. And one of the things that I had an issue with was I wanted to do an LED TI Tuesday, but the the C2000 that I had was the wrong kind for the demo software. So TI has been kind enough to send me the C2000 Launchpad XL TMS 320 F2802X. So this one should be able to drive the LED booster pack, so maybe I might pick this for the TI Tuesday. We'll see what else we have in the mail first. We will be doing a video on this at some point in the near future though, so either way it will be getting looked at. Okay, next, this is a DHL. So what I have in here, some of these I already have opened because they were damaged, and I need to make sure that the courier is aware that some of the boxes are broken when they arrive. So this one is from Schneider, has been kind enough to send me this, and what it is are, if I'm correct, I'll just open this up. Yep, these are a couple of NFC relays that are from Schneider. A few weeks back I reviewed a prototype of an NFC relay, and one of the things that I observed there was that the final production versions were a little different to the one that I have here. Now this one, we'll do another video on this. There are two lights, one for each relay that's on the board. This is an external difference. We'll have to have a look inside to see what's different there as well. And the prototype I had only had one light on, so there may be some feature differences as well now that they've decided to make a bit more of an effort to show the fact that there's two relays. The previous model that I was reviewing of the prototype, you could control the second relay but only marginally away from the first one. In other words, when the trigger happened, you maybe could delay it a few seconds before the second one would trigger, maybe for a delta starter or something like that. But this, in this case, there may be some additional features. I don't know yet until we get it hooked up and play with it. Anyway, they were kind enough to send me two of these. They're DIN rail mount, and they will work on quite a range of either AC or DC supply. Okay, next up is a package from a company called Lumex Inc. in Taiwan. I noticed this company was asking about some products that had just recently had come on the market, and I asked them if they would be interested in letting me have a look at one of them, because if you've looked at some of my previous videos, you will see I like to review LCD displays and get them working with various boards, either the Raspberry Pi or the launch pads or even Arduinos. And so this company has a new display that is OLED, which is serially programmable. So in a similar way, I would imagine it's got a lot of features similar to the Nextians. I haven't looked at the software for this yet, but it is basically a serial OLED display. Just get it out of the package here. That will connect to a TTL serial port where you can send it commands and everything else. So that's the display. Get it in view there. Quite nice. You can see the aspect ratio is kind of like a high def aspect ratio. On the back we've got the processor, looks like a bit of power supply circuitry, a user button for something here. Looks like there are a bunch of input and output lines on here as well. The top set of connectors are all marked as out 0 through 7. The ones at the bottom here are marked as in 0 through 7. And the connectors in the middle look like they're marked as power, ground, PA13, PA14, and looks like a restart or something. These connections look like they're hooking up to the processor, so it looks like they may have one of these where the display controller also can potentially be hooked up to maybe a keyboard matrix or user buttons or something like that, so that you can make a more full user-driven interface without touch. So I don't know if this one is touch or not. I don't think this one is touch, but we will have a look at that in very shortly in a separate video as well. So I've been looking forward to seeing that from Lumex, and they have other displays too. I will provide the links to all of these things, by the way. Okay, this one is something I believe I bought from eBay. I've already ripped the packaging out from it. I've got two sets of packages here. One of them is for my CNC project. It doesn't say, does it say who sent this one? Dragon Marts in Hong Kong. Sent this one. This is one that I bought myself. What this is a 16 amp mains rated DIN rail mount contactor. So it uses a, it's got a 110 volt coil on it, and then it has a pair of separate contacts. This is not NFC or anything like that. It is simply a relay that I wanted to use so that I could have a low power small switch, like an e-stop or something like that, that then gave me the ability to trip out a couple of circuits independently and isolate from each other. So hopefully when I build up my next CNC, this would allow me to be able to do that. Next in here are some limit switches. On the CNC, one of the things that was pointed out by some of my viewers was that my limit switches were not working in the safest possible mode that they can work in. So I saw these on eBay. I don't know how good they are yet, and I got 5 of them. And what they are they're effectively they're a normally closed rather than normally open output, and it has a PNP and an NPN on the output as well, so a little more flexible. What happens is when you have a normally open contacts that then go closed when you hit a limit switch or something, or you sense your piece of metal, what happens if the cable gets cut or something like that, or it gets knocked off kilter? You won't know that it's hit a limit switch because it's going, a broken cable or something else won't indicate to the controller that anything is wrong. But by having a limit switch that is normally closed, if the cable gets cut and the contacts effectively become open, then it's still going to trip the alerting system so that you know that there's an issue. So technically it's a lot safer to be actively passing a current through to the sensors during normal operation than to have it open circuit during normal operation and going closed when an alert is happening. So there's a few limit switches to be trying some different options, but I don't know how good they are. They were only about $5 each. Okay, this package is not one that came in the mail. This was actually provided to me by a relative that was here on vacation from the UK. And what I have in here are a couple of BBC microbits. So these are the little microcontroller that pretty much every kid in the UK that was about 11 years old got given one of these microcontrollers. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you may not, but basically you've got a little array of LEDs, a couple of user buttons, you have a microcontroller, and I believe this even has Bluetooth on it as well, and you can connect it to your smartphone. There's a whole set of educational courses going on in the British schools around teaching the kids how to program and everything. So I have 2 of these to have a look at, which is really cool because you can't normally buy these ones. They're normally just given to the kids at the schools. There are a few places that have had them where, like Element 14, where they've been setting up, helping with the kids and things, some support infrastructure. And anyway, now I have a couple, so I can do some videos that may be able to help the kids and things. But either way, they'll be fun to have a look at and explore what you can do with them. Well, 2 more packages, and both of these ones come from Texas Instruments. This one just came a couple of days ago, and this one I've had for a few more days. So what this one is a TI Spins Motors. It's a DRV8X evaluation kit. So this is a, the proper number is a Boost DRV8711. It's a booster pack that is designed for driving and testing control systems for motors. So this one is a stepper motor booster pack. I may have talked about these before, and what they are is a little board that you just plug onto a launch pad, and using a combination of either SPI to talk to the controller chip or the GPIO pins, you can control these FET outputs and drive a stepper motor with them. So I am planning on doing a little more work with showing you how stepper motors work, 4-pole ones, 8-pole and 6-pole ones, and other motor control kind of systems. So TI has been kind enough to send me a whole bunch of stepper motor and regular DC motor control boards so that I can use them to make a few tutorials for you guys. So I will be doing one very shortly on starting the motor series. This one is a samples pack. A few days ago, or last week, I did a TI Tuesday on current sensing chips, where it's just a tiny little SOT23 package that allows you to sense a current using an external sense resistor, and it would give you an analog output, and it would work from it was just, the one we looked at was designed for high side operation. In other words, it had to sit on the positive rail of your power supply or charging circuit or whatever it might be. And what I have in here is some INA 301 current shunt monitors. Now what these ones are, they're very similar to the one we had in the TI Tuesday last week. The difference being that these ones are more flexible, and they have a comparator built in so that you can use or set up an alert, so that maybe it's under voltage or over voltage, depending on whether you want to look at the positive or negative side of the output of the comparator. And it's all built into the chip. So I have two versions here. I've got an A2 and I have an A3. So the difference between them is basically just the gain. So what we'll do, I think I might do these for the TI Tuesday just to keep in the flow of current sensing, because this is more relevant to our power supply project and things, and I do want to get going on that. So I've been taking the opportunity where things have arrived that can be related to the power supply to look at how we can set up current shunt, current monitoring and things like that, rather than doing it with all discrete components, to see if we can actually get a single integrated chip that will do it for us. So we'll look at the specs of this one in a separate video and go through it and maybe compare it to the one that we did last week. So that's what's in those. And the other one that's in this packet is an LMP8480 current sense amplifier. The one that we looked at last week was an 8481, so this is just slightly different. Now this one has the capability, if you remember from last week's video, to go up to 75 volts or 76 volts on the positive rail. I do not believe that the INA 301s can go that high. Now the other thing with the INA 301s, if you're interested, Element 14 are running a road test on the INA 301 chip, where you can get an evaluation module from them if you're selected for the road test. So if you're interested, I'll provide the link to where the road test is, and you can go over there and sign up. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing this video so that anybody that maybe wants to do that road test with Element 14 will have a little bit of a head start on what the chip can do and how you can use it. That way maybe they can do a better review themselves and things like that. And I think that completes the, just having a look around here. Oh, maybe I dropped one. I did. I got one more package got dropped on the floor here. This one is from, I know what this is. This is another little device that's been sent for review. If you remember in the previous MailBag, I got a power meter from RS Components. Now this one has got a full RS485, can do 3-phase power and a whole bunch of other things. What this one is a smaller unit. It's basically one that you can get from eBay or many other places. On the back it says Peace Fair. This is a 20 amp 6.5 to 100 volts power meter, so it's not really designed for mains operation or anything. It's designed for DC, but we can have a look at this. It's just got the 4 connections on the back of it. There's the diagram for hooking it up, so you can see that all we do is we hook up our load on the outside and our power supply on the inside, and that's it. And we've got a nice LCD display, and apparently this will track watt hours, volts and amps and things like that, and you can reset the accumulated power and things over time. So I think this will be good for maybe monitoring a battery charging circuit or something like that, to see how much you put into or took out of a battery when you're maybe trying to characterize it for how many watt hours or amp hours or coulombs or whatever your parameter may be for that battery or power supply or whatever you happen to be using this on. We'll give this a run in a separate video as well, probably when I'm looking at the other power meter too, or maybe I'll do one on its own. But I think that now complete all of the mail. I don't see anything else laying around that I haven't pulled up here yet. So, nope. I think that's everything. So that's cool. Lots of nice new mail and lots of nice new things to be having a look at. I will split these up into a number of small videos so that they don't take too long to watch. And that's it. So happy mailbag, and see you in the next one. Bye.